6 Renegades versus a Vor, and 3 TSM. Really would help here for Renegades to start to gain some ground, especially it's kind of like at halftime in the game, coming up to the half of the split. If you can get a bit of a surge, you go into the second half better. Hopefully that surge can start for Renegades now. Bans towards the top and mid lane focus are what we start with. Poppy from TSM.
Twisted Fate, a pretty quick ban as well, going to be off the board here.
Howard Siege just not
Interesting
target.
So Lulu's still left up. Ryze is still up. Quinn has been a pretty big pick. I wonder what Flares is actually going to pick, because they talked about, oh, last time we saw Flares.
Hecarim.
Yeah.
He's going to play Hecarim.
That was a long time ago. He used Hecarim to climb to the #1 in solo queue, which is his claim to fame. And then had sort of a rough LCS stay. Nidalee insta-lock here for Renegades, and Crumbs looking to repeat the success that we've seen multiple junglers have on Nidalee this weekend. Maybe he deviates from heavy vision style now and goes more for hard farming into trying to bully the enemy jungler.
It's something he for sure feels comfortable on. It's what they pulled out against their loss in Immortals. But to play it against Immortals means that he's really feeling comfortable on it, especially without any jungle bans coming in.
Yeah.
Well, Graves is there, but right. The other ones. Corki is being looked at now on the side of TSM. What will Svenskeren go with? He himself tried to Graves most recently. It also has that Elise, and it wouldn't hurt to pick that up. He won't show too much.
Yeah, I think they're very, very likely to lock in this Corki for Bjergsen in the mid lane. Definitely one of the, well, I guess not. Corki, though, Corki's still one of the most popular mid lane lock-ins, but Lulu, as we said, is still available. And TSM going to lock in. They just saw how successful Cloud9 were. Or, yeah. They didn't have Lulu, but just kidding. Lulu Kalista! We have seen that at some point.
They're going to TL, they're going to Belter.
Saved it.
They're going to Belter.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
that Lulu.
There you go. Immortals. That's what, if we combine both previous games that we saw today, Rib.
It's all right, Kobe. There's only 10 teams, 5 a team, plus 6 champions for each player. Don't worry about it. You get it.
Honestly, though, it does provide a lot of team fight presence here, and it does take away the Kalista from Renegades, which is a big part that every champion select we go into for Renegades. Oh, they need Kalista so much for their engage. They need Kalista. They revolve around this champion, and it also sets up double if they have a strong duo lane in the matchup with Freeze. So that's a pretty big takeaway there for TSM in the bottom lane.
Wow, locked in actually. Once they got their hands on it, Crumbs goes for Braum, for Hakuho. Or, yeah.
Yep,
and
Hakuho. Rise for Alex Heach, that's been big in the past for him. We'll see if he will be able to get to the point where he can lock down double lift. Even as Rise, though, it's hard to get through Alistar Kalista combo that also has a Lulu at their back. I mean, this just looks so difficult to work around. As strong as Rise is as an individual champion, the synergy between, and you add a Kalista or a Kindred on top of that, it looks really hard to kill anyone on the side of TSM. As strong as, you know, Rise is as an individual champion, the synergy between the TSM composition here, once they group up, this is a ridiculously strong team.
It's also a very hard team to hit. Everybody's jumping around, bumping you out, gaining speed from this Lulu, or you're being polymorphed. Getting your target is going to be hard against this TSM team. They have the lockdown, though. If they hit a spear, they have that gap to close on the side of Renegades, so they do have an option. Yeah,
plus, I mean, TSM, they have the Alistar before they lock in the Kindred. Getting it the same around here. Alistar's is so good against Kindred. It's also really good with Kindred because you can headbutt your enemies out of the Kindred ultimate while keeping your team safe.
Right, we saw that with some Lee Sin play as well.
You can pop up somebody for an easy kill there. Just decide who gets kicked off the island.
It's a great way to put it.
Freeze! Oh, Freeze Draven!
I was letting you finish.
He is going to go, yeah, so Freeze Draven. Freeze, this is one of the original champions that Freeze was known for. This is definitely a champion that you can crush in the lane phase with. And I'm really looking forward now to see if Freeze can capitalize on the trash talk that we saw in the earlier video and find the two versus
We'll
two,
see it, man.
even versus.
How good are their 2v2 hunting skills? Are they real trackers? Will they find what they want? That's going to be great, though. He's making a statement with this one, and that message has already been sent.
Is that a? Okay, so it's going to be not Alex Each Rise.
No, it's not.
Oriana, and it will go to Flares up top. If you're going to be the counter here from Hanser. That's actually a very precarious matchup. Gonna have to watch out for jungler intervention up in the top lane. If Fiora does get a lead on Rise, you can continue to pressure him in the squishy stages.
Chop, chop.
But his roles can be reversed if Crumbs is able to get off some bush ganks there from topside.
Yep. Looking at Svenskeren as well. Looking to have an aggressive jungler. It was Graves the last time, now into the Kindred, enjoying the ADs. So it looks like he'll stick with that role. We are going to be getting into this one. A 1-6 Renegades looking to pull some wins in. This 4-3 team solo mid. Also having a bit of turbulence in their past few games. Getting some wins, but not doing it cleanly, and they've kind of shown that.
And this game may have a couple more levels than the last games that we've seen, as both teams do have split pushing threats as well that can get strong. So depending on how the early game goes, there are multiple avenues for each of these teams to take to try and reach the end game.
So he takes the right one. It is now time for you. Hit us right in the inbox with your predictions for this game. Send those tweets. You know where to go. At LOL Esports with the hashtag REN win or hashtag TSM win to let us know your choice. You know the real, you know the deal. Get them in there, lock them in. They want to hear your votes as they go over these games. Hopefully they'll be watching that replay with a win. It's Renegades versus Team Solo Mid, game 3 on the day, and we are on the Rift.
All right, let's see Svenskeren on the Kindred. This is a champion that really does fit the playstyle we were looking to see from him when he first joined the North American LCS. We'll keep track of who he's marking, and I also want to see if he does go for the early Hunter's Potion upgrade, because that has been gaining a lot of popularity among high ELO solo queue junglers. The sustain from Hunter's Potion, especially on someone like Kindred, is ridiculous. You can keep on clearing the jungle very quickly and keep your mana full. Basically, with just her passive heal and spamming Hunter's Potion, you'll almost always be at full life and ready to take any skirmish no matter when it breaks out. So basically the uptime on her is extremely high.
Is this going to change kind of Crumbs' path at all? Nidalee can still come out quite healthy, but is he going to have to look for Svenskeren?
Nidalee can definitely do very similar things. I expect Crumbs actually to try and hard farm his early clear.
All right.
But we'll see if he expects some pressure from Svenskeren. You can go for counter ganks with Nidalee. The counter gank would be a lot more effective than Nidalee initiating. Looks like they are trying to do the minion block here. We did see this first from Team Dingtas. Apollo did it, and he actually was able to deny a CS by getting the minions to focus on his line and delaying his own ranged minions. Let's see if Renegades are able to pull off the same trick here, as it will be the 2 versus 2 scenario. And they will get to lane later because they are both doing the side camps. I think it should work out in their favor. Yep, their minions got to lane later, get focused down, and 2 melees are killed off. 2 melees, that is huge.
And there's the 3 for him. You see the 3 in the front, 3 in the back. Nicely stacked up and ready to be taken down. Oh, probably not all ready for
level
the
2.
match. Yep.
Braum Draven, very, very scary level 2 power spike. Crepo loves to talk about the Lucian Draven, you know, proccing it, or Lucian Braum, not Lucian Draven. That would be, but
wasting no time and making what he said true. Freeze and Hakuho find the double lane, and they start going hard immediately. Hakuho not even allowing some of this experience to go to double lift in Yellow Star. Trying to take advantage of that laning phase, as Freeze said before. And here's the early levels for Hanser. Taking a bit of damage, but he knows he can stand toe-to-toe, as that can't happen too often now from players.
Yeah, especially right now, he's got to be very careful. The Vital is on the top side. Hard to get to that one, and Crumbs is already taking a sneaky gank path up top He just cleared his top side, so you get level 3 off of just the blue side camps, and he makes an early 3-minute gank here. This should be first blood.
Haunter, very aggressive. Pops the potion to corruption. He gets a bit of the attack back, and it does stop the mark, which is going to allow him to get over the wall. There was only a few ways he could have gotten out of that, and he chose one of those.
I feel like that was the only way he gets out of that alive. It looked like Crumbs was a little too scared to try and answer that flash. So many times we've seen, Dyrus is a real big fan of this actually, baiting people into trying to follow him on that flash.
They just hit the wall.
Yeah, you have to get in exactly the right spot. So just your champion model blocking the enemy from getting right up against that wall means that, whoa, I guess we missed the gank there. Means that your enemy can't follow. So they have to sneak right in and get right against that wall to make it.
Oh, Svenskeren with the perfect timing in mid. Crumbs had backed, and Alex still playing aggressive with the knowledge of Crumbs being towards mid lane. So now he's to half with a summoner gone as well.
Early DPS from Kindred is insane. And Alex feels that one.
Summoner heal for him, burned.
There you go. Svenskeren looking for the duel on the laners. Will he get collapsed on? Here comes Alex.
This not stopping whatsoever.
Disgusting. Svenskeren's at full life. Nidalee run out of the jungle. And this is the way that you want to play Kindred.
That was his mark as well. Crumbs had to get away from that.
Yeah. Usually marking the enemy jungle early stages because they're definitely one of the squishiest on the map, you know, save for the support. And so you're most likely sort of generic kill that you would be able to get. But yeah, Crumbs holds onto his flash, but still run out of his jungle, and Svenskeren's going to get an early lead here. Crumbs now moving down to bottom side to actually take away a mark, though, from Svenskeren, so he gets a little laugh of his own.
He'll have the final.
Nice stand aside.
There we go. It's going to be a spear. There's too many minions, actually, to follow up just right now. That should be Yellow Star flashing. I was going to say going down, but all summoners are blown except for Doublelift's flash. They have to be very careful here in the spot lane, and Renegades is not relieving any of that pressure anytime soon. Svenskeren to top now. Doesn't look like they'll try to go for flares right off the bat, though.
Yeah, flares with a minion wave right now. Pretty scary. Plus, he had a ward on the side there, so he could back off if Svenskeren decided to come up river. But yeah, all said and done, very even on CS across the board without anyone taking kills. A lot of summoners blown, though.
Quite surprising that Doublelift has actually been able to do that along with the Yellow Star with how much pressure they met in the early game and missing a few. They have played it very, very safe. So there's still obviously respect from Freeze and Hakuo in that lane. They know they can't go too hard. Haunter not having too fun up here on the top side, and now that Flares actually hit 6 first, got to stay back, respect that. Still though, like we said, even CS.
Yeah.
And the teleport was just actually used by Flares to get back, so that's why he can apply this.
Like I said, it's a pretty volatile matchup, and with Crumbs having such a successful early visit there with a very early route over the Baron wall, Haunter's having to play without Flash versus the Rise and at an experience disadvantage. Now he's going to get dove.
Looks like cat food. This isn't good. He's actually going to get the riposte to go early on Flares' attack. That means the Javelin hit, and it was what the damage they needed.
Very well played there by Renegades to take that first blood and take the early gold advantage. Svenskeren's on the bottom side of the map. I don't think they can make the same happen, but they might look to do so anyway here. Nobody's level 6. Okay, if they were level 6, maybe they go for this.
Yes,
but
Svenskeren's only half XP too.
Yeah, Svenskeren's not 6, Yellow Star's not 6, so no go there. Nobody's here in the mid lane to back up Svenskeren, so this is a pure 1v1.
The auto attacks though. Back and forth, Clockwork Windup makes him stronger, but playing against the AD means all you have to do is keep right-clicking a dodge from Svenskeren as he doesn't tunnel in too hard for the kill, seeing Crumbs coming in.
Yeah.
What an impressive game all over the place.
Yeah. Jungler able to take down the mid laner here and run him out of lane. Just Kindred things.
That'll be the second time, too. We saw Alex Each blow his flash on a play, or sorry, heal on a play, now flash. So he's forced to go back. Is there any lead being gained? That gives Bjergsen a few more CS. He's going to be able to
super close game. Really the only difference is that first
neck
blood
and
top. A lot of give and take as far as the junglers. Crumbs has been doing a lot better than usual. All in from Haunter on Rise. Hello! And
good call, Kobe.
Goodbye, my friend. Yeah, no play-by-play necessary there, Rip. You're Flair's pops, passive pops ult, and Hanser just pops.
Yeah. Maybe thought he had the vitals to trigger it. He didn't even have enough time. So Flair's going to be getting a little bit bigger. Not maybe that was just kind of not as much respect as should have been given. But at 2-0, we'll see what Flair's can now do. This is his first game back in the LCS. See if he can kind of add that to the other lanes and create enough pressure to help them.
Oh, yeah. I talked about, this is a kind of interesting game because the top laners are on such powerful champions. They can get to be split-pushing threats. Flair's the new guy on the squad, having a great early game. Crumbs, trying to lend some early pressure to that matchup, allow him to succeed, and now he's definitely in a place to carry this game.
Continuously all over Crumbs. Definitely making it hard for him to get anything that's really going to help him out. See the Aether Wisp for movement speed, back and forth in the jungle just to farm. His assist to Flares will help out as well. So he's avoided Svenskeren for how much pressure Sven has continuously been putting in that jungle and been doing pretty well.
Sven's been dealing a decent amount, and trying to take away camps when he can. But honestly, I think people need to recognize Crumb and his improvement, because he's been receiving a lot of flack and a lot of criticism recently, but honestly he's been extremely strong this game.
Hello! Gets thrown in, Fade's call is there, Crumbs adds in, he gets headbutted into the turret! That is not what he wanted!
I'm sorry, Crumbs, I cursed you!
The curse is
I'm
real.
so sorry. All right, well that didn't last long. Unlucky.
Just signed on that, dotted the I's, crossed your T's, and it was over that as quick as you started.
Now, Yellow Star has ultimate as well. How confident do they feel? No, Flares has teleport. Flares has teleport advantage. You guys got to second guess yourselves there. I think that's why they decided to hold on to Alistar ultimate. Otherwise, Alistar with flash and ultimate ready, and Kindred with ultimate. Bergson almost gets the solo. Does!
That's why. Peekaboo! Here comes Kindred. They pick up one. Double is going to be going down the bot side as Alex falls to Svenskeren. And there are just bodies everywhere in this game. One spear could make it happen. He does have the ultimate. Oh my word.
Ooh, beautiful sidestep, and maybe turning it around here.
That hitbox did not. It should have missed, but just by Lamb. Woo.
Nimble. That's
Svenskeren out of his jungle. Crumbs is going to take the time to get himself in. And we'll see this play on Doublelift. Nice W.
Freeze gets his kill onto the
Cha-ching.
Solo Doublelift.
796 gold.
You have to be so careful. You're that far up against a Braum Draven lane. Really good, job by the Renegades bottom line recognizing that Alistar is nowhere to be found. Yellowstar has gone warding. And capitalize on that really quickly. No summoners from Doublelift available, and pretty easy auto attack kill there for Freeze. Able to cash in. That's just what Renegades needed. I mean, they already had a lead on top side with Flares, and the Rise was going to be a big threat, but they needed another, and they needed the cash in on Freeze. So big influx of gold, and Freeze immediately picks up his Ghost Blade, which makes it very scary now for Kalista. That flat armor pen, he will destroy Doublelift in just a few autos if they land Winner's Bite.
Yerkson now level 10, highest in the game. As TSM starts to go for this dragon. Shouldn't be too hard. Have jungle pressure from Crumbs here, but it's going to be very scary if he tries it. He's only got jump. His flash is down. So Pounce will not get him in and out. TSM grabs first dragon of the game. Quite bloody game that we've seen so far. We'll see how much Flares can start to push this top lane. Hanser is now trying to run up.
Rise is actually one of the champions. While yes, he can get extremely scary in the split push, doesn't take turrets very quickly at all, because the two ways you scale on taking turrets is attack damage, which is the best, or ability power, which also increases the damage for his structures. But Rise builds mana, and that doesn't help with your turret destruction. So while he can push the wave up, turret still stands, and Hanser gets back in time. 2 levels down though, so he's still got to worry about the dives. Interesting loop-de-loop here. Crumbs and Hakuho may be in a very tricky situation.
Oh, double TP,
Nope.
same spot. This is definitely going to be a fight. Flares comes out first. He tries to get out before he can get back and root some people, but that's not going to work. Crumbs gets baited into the fight. Alex Each is there too. The double shockwave, and now it looks like Renegades can start to engage this. Crumbs was focused. Alex is in a bad spot if the team cannot cover this ground fast enough. And it looks like coming around the wall, they are able to route TSM as they go to the Dragon Pit. There's the heal coming out of Freeze. They want another Winter's Bite. They want to lock down the concussive blows, and he gets another one. Freeze cashes in. What a fight again for Renegades. 2 for 2 overall, but that's a lot of gold to the Drake.
Freeze has been delivering.
Yes.
He's taken Double's head off twice now. And Renegades with that was just a chaotic collapse from both teams. Not quite sure who's flanking who, as multiple members from both teams come in from different sides. At first, you think, oh, Crumbs and Hakuho are on the opposite side, but Freeze and the teleport there for players turn the tides. They all get back to the turret. Crumbs is left by himself, so he's getting soloed out at the exact same time that the bottom lane there was getting frozen. And Bjergsen he's lowered enough, and he's saved for a moment by Lamb's Respite, but it's not going to do anything. Lamb's Respite also saved Hakuho, which ended up being the reason Renegades could continue this chase. So, I mean, hard to say whether, I guess in the end, you know, hindsight, we can say, oh, it was not the best ultimate because it did end up saving the Braum as well as Bjergsen, and Bjergsen just died anyway, but very difficult in that chaotic fight to make that choice. And Renegades, with the mid-game advantage on TSM right now, what they need to do is play around flares. Renegades really want to continue playing around flares. 3-0 Rise. Both scaling items completed. They don't even need for them to scale up right now. He's already at the point where he can bully anyone on TSM. Bottom lane, though, that's where TSM want to play around. Good dodge.
Oh, stand aside, Yellow Star. The headbutt does not connect. Hakuho's going to throw up the Unbreakable, and he very much is. Svenskeren gets his foot caught in the door there. He's walked in a little too close.
Yeah, trade kills there, so burn kill does go over, but it's just a turret trade. Pretty much even as far as gold is concerned, since both kills were assisted, both turrets end up going down. Nice recall interrupt there from Freeze, though, means that Renegades will get more damage on the top secondary. Don't think they'll be able to take it, but they do have the Rift Herald buff to buff up some of these minions.
That extra shot helped, but it wasn't in range. Crumbs actually takes a bit of damage. They should be able to get back, get a
Rift
heal on.
Herald might enable them to do so.
Yeah, that becomes nice for them. This is going to give Doublelift a little bit to farm. Crumbs pounce away, not going to go for the brush since that's where Bjergsen is. A lot burn for that, actually, but they do get the kill onto Crumbs.
Yeah, that's also going to be a response tower from TSM, probably taking top. Let's see how they allocate their wave clear.
The bottom's
trying to get
here if they
back
want.
mid.
Rod of Ages are now stacking, making it harder to pop any of the members of Renegades here with a REN for Doublelift, who's already been having a pretty difficult game. He's about 1,200 gold down right now, I believe. 1,400 gold down on Freeze, and that's because he's cashing in, and that's, yes, he's up. So Renegades is really playing to their strengths right now and not going too far to give up their advantage.
Also, just want to say that was a nice play there by Alex in mid lane. They had vision of Svenskeren with their pink ward, and he just wanted to waste Svenskeren's time a little. So he played around in the mid lane, moving up in the lane, and then fell back to the bottom side of the river. So he didn't give up anything to TSM and just kind of used up a little extra time of another TSM member. Even though it was not a splashy play or anything, anytime you can get vision of the enemy champions and waste the time of one of their members, it is a big win for you because it results in objectives like this. We constantly see towers being traded. Renegades definitely got the advantage there.
Continuing to go with the win condition. And they've pretty much created it for themselves in that top lane of flares. As long as they stay safe with that pressure, Crumbs continuing to put what you see on the blue side and Vision down. Renegades could really get another win here on the board.
Yeah. Remember, though, that as we pointed out in the Champion Select, when TSM members, when they all come together, they have a lot of utility they can use to save their carries, Double Lift and Haunter, and keep their DPS alive with the Kindred ultimate as well as Lulu, and Yellow Star acting as bodyguard. So TSM still do have that chance where you're watching TSM games and it always comes to this point where they win a huge mid-game team fight.
Right, and yeah, they push down 3 or 4 turrets. So that's the spike they needed.
It's still there, and Renegades still have to play around that, but Flares is definitely in a position to take this game over.
Crumbs has been very vigilant about where these Kindred stacks are. Takes down another one on the Scuttle Crab. That flash is up. The distortion boots are there for Yellow Star, so he's looking to make these plays as much as possible. But TSM knows they're not in the right position to do so just yet. Yeah. Here comes Double Lift now out of the base. Looks like he's going to hang off just in the back.
TSM have to spread out. They cannot afford for Alex to get a big shockwave on them, because as much as we focus on Flares on the top side, Freeze, as we said, has been cashing in. He's got the 2-item Draven Power Spike here, Bloodthirster on top of it, on top of his flat armor penetration. So even hard to itemize against them right now. Renegades are looking really good so far. 20 minutes into the game, and they've got a pretty solid hold. Maybe we see the first really all-in 10-man fight here at this Dragon. Renegades looking to get their first Dragon to get that 6%. Oh, engage.
Svenskeren able to jump out. The flash back as well. Teleport coming in from Rise. There comes the TP from Haunter. Shockwave to the back. Double it very low. They're forced to flash out and get the wild growth. The damage is being traded back. That's not going to be a contested hit from Fiore's ultimate, and they're going in onto Haunter. Svenskeren very low as well. They have multiple targets that they're actually trying to fight at the same time, and it's still working as TSM can't kite the fight fast enough.
Yep, Renegades run them over on the re-engage there. Yellow Star flashes in for the Pulve onto Freeze, but there's no follow-up. So Yellow Star is using every ability for Alistar. Alistar has very high impact for a short amount of time, and then pops his ultimate there, but no damage was dealt to Freeze. Freeze was not pressured at all, and as Double Lift tried to follow up, they got double shockwaved. Here goes the Baron fight, though.
Got a Titanic. He could definitely put out some power here. There's one hit. Haunter's slowed a bit. Dragon's low. That's going to be a shutdown onto Crumbs. No smite there. The ball goes in. Freeze is able to capitalize, and Bjergsen's here with full mana, full HP. This is going to be a crushing fight. A quadra kill for Double Lift.
Trying to look who got the other kill. I want to be amped up, but where'd the who? Okay, anyways, they killed everyone, and that's actually a net loss for Renegades, as TSM are going to claim multiple turrets after that. Oh, yeah, we'll take a look at the replay afterwards, but that was a huge, huge blunder from Renegades, and TSM right back in this game. They take 2 turrets at least. Looks like they will stop at 2, but a giant, giant bag of money there back into TSM's favor.
See it again. All right.
All right, so yeah. All 5 members are up at this moment. Maybe somebody dies without Double Lift touching them. Did Crumbs get just executed? Let's see. He's the one.
He might have gotten.
It looks like he does get executed. No, Double Lift got credit for that one. Tried to go for the steal. Oh, Haunter took the bomb kill. Okay, that's it.
Figure it was a Haunter.
That's all I wanted to check. Bjergsen comes in, so they're easily able to capitalize on it. But yeah, the Braum kill. That's the one that got away, Riv.
That fight alone. Remember, we said it was about 1,400 gold we saw Double Lift down. Now he's above Freeze. Like you said, Kobe, it's one fight. This one fight that TSM finds somewhere mid-game, 20 minutes, it's not even mid yet, and they're able to catapult themselves.
Renegades did get the Baron kill, though, so they got the global gold for it. Just no buffs.
No play to come from it.
And they also were able to get that Dragon, so they are able to cash in on the 6%, which is definitely going to be big in the mid stages of the game. And all that really does is pull this back closer to even for TSM.
Right, they're still down.
Yeah, they still have the upper hand here for Renegades. But definitely a hiccup. You don't want to have too many missteps like that in the game, especially against TSM, who once they do get that team fight win, have a knack for forcing another one. Interesting little collapse here from Crumbs. TSM are going 1-3-1 without teleport on Haunter, so Bjergsen by himself against Flares running for the hills.
He's got to cleanse.
Crumbs is collapsing, though, so
Love this Quicksilver Sash Flares.
Eventually, they're going to corner him.
What's the time? What's going to take, though? Bottom lane is getting hit up pretty hard. This is going to be a second-tier turret you can see in the screen now being hit. Bjergsen's going to be able to keep wincing. That's 5-6 seconds and just, I'm out of here. Keep chasing me if you want. Throwing bubbles back.
Not even a tickle there.
Nope.
Bjergsen's full health still.
Just a mastermind play around your competition and not through them. TSM is getting much more on the map after that fight and staying away from the composition of Renegades. They don't want a shockwave and a Bramall hitting them square in the face.
Why fight the 4-kill guys when you can just run them around in circles and waste the jungler's time as well? TSM get another turret for themselves, pull even closer. 1,000 only the gold lead now, and now they, freeze! Who's cornered now?
All right. Adrenaline rush. He's going to have the Yomus. Got to go fast.
All right.
Was Headbutt just used?
Can Renegades get mid-turret in the same fashion, though?
He's got stand aside. He's got stand aside as well after this. That's going to keep coming up. This is going to be a very long chase, and TSM has to know when too much is too much. He's going to get with the team.
This game is actually just a racing game. This is a mini game of League of Legends. They're not even playing.
Wow.
All right, well, Flares does have teleport. He could join for a 5-on-5.
AD carries, take notes. Hakuho, Glacial Fissure is out, and TSM is slowed, so there's no engage from there, but gotta go around the world on this one to keep yourself alive.
Hey, it's a spoiler, Riv. They're giving away. New game, racing game coming from... Just kidding. That's completely troll. Don't call me out on that.
Kobe said it! Trying to put the S in Riot Games too early, Kobe.
Yeah, must be true.
So he squeaks out a 2-1-5. There wouldn't have been much kill onto him for gold, but the pressure it would have created would have allowed TSM easily a few more turrets. I'm still
This is honestly one of the most comical North American LCS games that we've had in a while. No Rammus necessary. This is the new season here. Swifty boots everywhere. Frost Queen's claim everywhere. But
Swifties,
it's actually Draven and Lulu who are the racing kings. King and queen, I guess. All right, Flares again. You can't run away from me now. Oh, yes you can. Just kidding.
How about not having your combo?
He's like, gotcha. All right, deep wards though is really the biggest difference right now. Renegades pretty deep on this blue buff side. So Flares does have a lot of vision coverage, you know, to support his split pushing efforts. And that's what Renegades want to play around. This big rise.
You know, back in the day when these guys were going to match up when Flares was on enemy, I remember the tweet where he was like, I can take down Dyrus in top lane. And in that game, they actually lost, but he was something like 5-0 in that lane. Hopefully it doesn't repeat itself here because he's having a very good game. They need to be able to control the power he has. Right now, that power is controlled by 2 teleports in the bottom lane. Spooky Ghosts are out, and it's now on to Hakuho. We just saw him use the ult, but it's back up since that fight. He goes down. TSM playing the map. This is where the brains comes into play that they were talking about on the side of Renegades. Yellow Star helping to call the shots here to put TSM in the right spot to get the kills. Freeze goes in, double lift to half HP. The hits towards Svenskeren. He throws down Kindred's ult. Everybody's going to be out of this one. Crumbs, the grand challenge is onto him, and he may die today. He does go down. Haunter, very, very big right now. The kite from Freeze. He says do just that, but he's knocked up and popped by the Wild Growth. Back to safety. Flares gets the command protect. He was already safe, but could have gone down by a large gust of wind. 2
races, and now a mid-lane ambush from TSM as they had 4 members waiting on that pink ward and actually found the Braum kill with their Kalista engage. But Renegades able to get a little bit back for themselves. Net kill advantage 1 for TSM there. But that's it. That's a very small amount of gold and doesn't change much about the game. 1 kill at this stage, really no objectives traded, so just a little bit of excitement for the fans, making sure they're entertained.
I think they are.
Yeah?
I think they are.
No Gladiator Draven from Freeze, though. All right.
He knows
Renegades
what to pull back.
Have a turret in their eyes, though. Got to keep track of the cooldowns that were used in that last fight because This turret is tempting, but can be used as a bait.
They don't have the best shoulder ward for where Svenskeren was right there. Svenskeren gets chucked in, double lift with the shots from the back. This could be Renegades having to disperse without enough fight. How Hakuo and Flares go down immediately.
I don't know how Haunter keeps getting all these kills in the team fights, but man, he was able to take out 2 and escape.
That was one of the fights where Flares Quicksilver was down, so he got popped right away. He's been using that.
Even though they get the double kill there, they still lose the objective. So Renegades, 2 for 2, tower goes down. Definitely happy with that one. Svenskeren, this is the thing. We keep on talking about these champions that are so timing based here, and Kindred and Kale with just a slight misstep, you know, getting locked down, you can get CC'd for the entire duration of your health bar, and no ultimate comes up from Svenskeren. Didn't get to do anything in that team fight. Let's see how he gets locked down here. He jumps in face first. I don't even know if he was hard CC that whole time, but he just got 100% it, and that set up the huge 4-man, which we thought was going to be a wash for Renegades, but Haunter just went off. Backed up by the Lulu.
So much crowd control there, wild growth, flash headbutt into Fate's Call pullback, and then bounced again. They were just back and forth in a bounce house there for a second. Renegades knows, let's not group for that again. It's going to be harder though. Those choke points right in front of the base are exactly where TSM can make those fights happen and get that over and over again.
And this is where the extra teleport comes into play for TSM, running it in the mid lane as well. They get split push pressure. All right, that's half a double lift life and 1 crit from Freeze. Split push pressure is still there though. Bjergsen's working on the inhibitor turret, and Renegades have no answer.
This is where we see Renegades start to fall apart a little bit. Comes down to the wire, and making one wrong move allows a lane to be pushed down fully. You're not
TSM pulling them apart, and here comes the Baron.
Teleport comes in, Bjerg's there. Does not look like there's going to be enough pressure. Hakuo, he could throw the ult in, but that's just to deter it. It looks like he goes in deep. That's the rend out from double lift. Yellow Star very low. He's not going to be able to provide crowd control for the team, and he may be too much of a focus for Renegades. Yellow Star is still standing. They keep going on, finally falls. It does not look like double, and
don't fail your hop.
Are in a good spot right here. He can't get a javelin to go out. He's forced to take the fight as he does not have that to go over the wall.
Another
looked like a chaotic fight. Renegades found their targets.
Another almost ace for the team that didn't get Baron. And this time it's Renegades who are the ones who collect all of the kills and run up mid lane. This is, well, it's a close game. Let's say that.
Had a few of these today. We'll see who can really tilt it to one side. Maybe opening the inhibitor and getting the inhib is what makes this happen. Since once their teleports are up, they'll be able to go top to bottom here with flares and really start to press it thin. They have an open inhib of their own, so they have to be wary of how hard they engage here.
I mean, TSM just got a little over anxious with this. They had just gained such a huge advantage. They got an inhibitor turret for literally nothing, but then forced this Baron play. Hakuo flashes in for the shockwave. Even though they don't steal Baron because Kalista has so many spears in it, they get so many members of TSM low. Lamb's Respite comes out really early, and then they jump in for the cleanup. Even though Crumbs jumps in and gets blasted, the rest here, Flares and Alex and Freeze, all 3 carries for Renegades are still up. And 3 versus 1 inside the Baron pit. Double F has no chance. So pretty big swing. Inhibitor and gold advantage now for Renegades. I don't know, yeah. The TSM felt like they wanted a little too much there with that play. They had gotten themselves a very big advantage, but hand stuck in the cookie jar. Got caught. Renegades slam it shut. Chopped off 4 fingers.
Dang. But they grow back. It's all right.
They got 1 finger left with a Baron buff, though.
See what they can do with it, Kobe. Is that finger strong enough to take the fight? Whoa! Freeze, a 2v1. They know they can't take more than 2 hits from him. Both Doublelift and Haunter forced to run here. Flares, the TP has already been used. They don't know he's here. He's just charging up, getting himself ready. He's got the ball on him. He's going to be trying to get closer and closer. They put him right in the middle of the fight for a shockwave. Haunter's there. They're able to drop Flares immediately. Once again, the AoE damage is pretty much nullified there as they're trying to retreat out of the fight. Double kill coming in for Doublelift.
That was the best. Oh, Svenskeren, I was just about to praise your Lamb's Respite.
Stop cursing people!
That was the best Lamb's Respite we've seen all game from Svenskeren, because TSM were able to collapse on 2 members of Renegades and burst them down, while Svenskeren was sort of the bait that they gave up, and he was in the middle of Renegades, but he pops his ultimate, survives on the edge, and then can tumble out only to get speared by Crumbs with the javelin. Woo! Close, as we said.
Getting exciting, Obi.
I mean, these are pretty exciting team fights, right? It's very chaotic. Anyways, let's take another look at it here, because there's a pink ward here, and Flares, it's a tough choice. He could try and stay there and go for Doublelift, but Doublelift had Yellowstar in his pocket, ready to throw off the Kalista a little bit. So that's why he didn't stay in there initially. Flares is the...
Flares cleansed very early.
He really didn't get to cast a spell. Annihilated. Then, Svenskeren down here is the front line on Kindred, able to soak up so much damage even with no tank stats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just again, good aim there by Crumbs. But yeah, no tank stats. The Sterix pops, keeps him alive long enough to get off his Lamb's Respite, and then they get out.
Eagle Eye Crumbs starting to hit a few more. Shouldn't be too much problem for Svenskeren. He will heal back up. It's becoming a game of the 80 carries now, whichever one's alive is carrying this fight. Haunter is dropping very fast, and Doublelift and Freeze are starting to pile up kills. Still with the pokes, Renegades knows if they can start the fight with a few attacks on the HP bars of TSM, why not do it? Force them around.
Here they come.
Is it going to be the speed up for Doublelift? No, just Yellowstar going in. Crumbs is there. Hakuo, he may go down. He does dive in for a good engage. They are going to get the shockwave before he goes down. Svenskeren in the Lamb's Respite. He will be okay. And now they start to pull back. Haunter, he is looking big. He gets a riposte going in onto a few members. Then they take down Freeze. Hakuo is already down, so there's really no peel for the rest of the team. They're forced to kite the fight themselves. Flares is going to be the next one. He actually gets a quick drop down onto Haunter, but Alex Ish is running. Svenskeren has focused on pushing the mid lane so the team can gather after this and get some objectives. Is it another race?
1v1 race.
Speed is on. There's not enough mana for Alex to get through this one. That's the kill for Bjergsen.
All right, that's 4 kills for TSM. They're going to be able to press in and get turrets now. Doublelift and Svenskeren take mid, while mid lane being pushed up here by Bjergsen and Yellowstar. Can they revive in time to sit? No, they cannot. Freeze is up in 15 seconds.
Doublelift.
Inhibitor bottom is exposed already, though. I think that goes down.
I think Doublelift's going to try and stay middle on this one, too. Enough tax from Svenskeren, they're out. Doublelift continues to put pressure on the mid turret. A lot of pings towards him, but no home guards are actually going to be able to get to him. He dances around what they bring, and TSM is out clean on that one.
Watch the re-engage here. TSM are so confident because they have the Kindred ultimate. Even though Hakuo keeps flashing in for these shockwaves to set up the Orianna, Svenskeren always immediately ults right after, and then TSM can retreat onto the Lamb's Respite, grab the heal. Crumbs this time goes all in for Svenskeren to get the execute, but doesn't get it. And then Freeze left on the outside exposed here. Once Freeze goes down, the whole comp here collapses from Renegades, and TSM clean it up. TSM just have so many high utility spells that are really effective in the team fight, with the Kalista going for engage with Alistar, and then being able to retreat onto the Lamb's Respite to get sort of a mid-team fight reset after they've gotten their first kill, and then chase people down with Lulu. It's just a 3-step process for TSM as far as the team fight goes, and that time they're able to hit all 3 steps and profit.
Full build. Looking at Bjergsen and Doublelift right now. Sterix Gage finished up for Double. Bjergsen all the way across with the Lichbane as well. So once they get to these turrets, they're not going to last very long with the ADs and Bjergsen there. Looking very good. Those engages quite strong. As you're saying, Hakuho diving in. We kind of saw on the Poppy, that's what was kind of a pain point when he would die, going in a little too far. Seems like when they got their fights, TSM was making a mistake, and now TSM.
Another Baron. Kalista has plenty of spears in it. This time around, Hakuo second guesses himself on the sacrifice. Only a single shockwave.
Hakuo still standing pretty strong. That's going to be Flares going down very, very deep in the fight. Doublelift takes down Flares. Hakuo has already dropped Haunter now onto Alex. The ball's a bit too far. Pulls back for the protect and gets the ult out of Svenskeren, and they're going to keep fighting this one through. There goes Alex Each, and once again, TSM finds these late game fights to start a surge, and then they put their foot down to dictate the rest of the game. Freeze trying his damnedest right now to stop a 4v1 fight as Crumbs really can't do anything to help. They are pushing into the base. The crowd is chanting behind Team Solo Mid. They've finally broken through with enough pressure to take the Nexus down as well. And at 38-30 in the game, they start the damage to get the victory. TSM takes down Renegades.
Yeah, a couple of very good engages from TSM in the mid lane. Once they got through the mid game and they were able to pull their composition together, get the multi-layers there.
Yeah.
And chase down Renegades, who put up a very good fight in the early game, considering how many roster swaps Renegades have gone through. You know, Crumb showed up in the early game, getting Flares ahead.
Very, very strong laning phase can be presented from Renegades. And that's what Freeze said himself. But there might be focus after that laning phase onto where to go, what to do, where to keep your conditions in mind. Or I should say, what conditions to keep in mind and how to get that pressure. TSM was able to exploit that towards the 20-minute mark, started finding a quadra kill at Baron for Doublelift that really catapulted him back into the game. And even after that, they were still 2K gold down. And TSM, they had to push back a little bit harder. They found what they needed. They found the victory. They move now to 5-3.